Hi everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we have an exceptionally good car. Dare I say, the perfect car. We're looking at the 2020 BMW M2 CS. Now, what does that CS stand for? I don't know, I could care less. I just know that when it has that CS, this thing is incredible. Let's get started. We get started in the front and we can see this thing is incredible. First, there is no way you can ignore the Misano Blue Metallic paint that this has. It is spectacular. Typically reds shine and kind of cut through the grays and the blacks and the whites and the silvers, that, you know, those colors, and red really pops out. They have nothing on this blue. This blue is spectacular. You will get looks everywhere, and it's just perfect on this car. And we get started in the front. Headlights, nice. They're BMW adaptive LEDs. They're super bright. We come down to the front bumper, and with the CS, you get the carbon fiber lip at the bottom. I thankfully haven't hit anything. So it's actually high enough that you're not gonna hit a bump, but it's still low enough that it looks mean and aggressive. These guys are a sore topic right now. This is probably the last BMW M2 Series that will keep this kidney design or the grille design if they don't decide to go with the longer one. Do I like the longer one? It's okay. I've seen it in real life. It's not that big of a deal. Honestly, it's okay. It doesn't do anything for me. These just look great. Beautiful, nice little M2 badge there. Big openings because you need a lot of cooling in this. And before we go further, I want to go back to the top. Carbon fiber hood. And it has these openings. There is heat coming out of this right now because, yeah, I was having some fun in it, but it is definitely a beautiful hood. It's just sculpted so well. And these openings here just add to that touch, to that extra, you know, there's something special here. So we have that. And again, this blue is just spectacular. Well, let's go ahead and pop the hood and see what we have under here. We get under the hood and we have the 3.0 inline 6-cylinder engine under here. It is turbocharged and this thing is incredible. About over 400 horsepower in this. And there's one thing about having a lot of power in a small car that's fun, but the way that this sets it up and has it go through the drivetrain and down to the pavement is spectacular. So this works really well in connection to the other things. Now this is the automatic, it's their fancy automatic, but I don't know if I would miss having the manual, because this does have a manual option. I don't know if I would want that. I know I'm gonna get a lot of crap for that, but the automatic is actually really good. It's very responsive. It's very responsive. It just works well with the power. The paddles are you know, on the steering wheel are so good. The lever on the car is just so good. It just works very, very well with this. Rev matches as well, so I don't know if I would want a manual. Oh God, I'm saying that. It hurts a little bit, but I was really impressed with this. Yeah, this is really the perfect car. And we have some nice carbon bits. We have a nice big carbon brace here. Yeah, this thing is solid. And we have the carbon fiber hood. We can see the dry carbon underneath in here, but it's really cramped. That's the other thing, but it's surprisingly cool. So definitely those openings in the front will keep this as a fairly cool engine, because I was beating it pretty hard. But yeah, let's take a look at more perfection at those wheels and tires. We come to the wheel and tire package, and we're talking about perfection here, guys. This is really such a perfect setup. We have the 19-inch wheels in the front, and they have the beautiful gold color. This is perfect. This fits so well with this blue. You really can't beat it. Beautiful design as well. They are wrapped in the Michelin 245, 35, and this is a 19-inch wheel Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. Now, we've test driven cars with Pilot Sport Cup 2s, and they didn't feel this good. These were spectacular, and they have 265 on the back because a little bit of a wider in the rear. But these, I mean, even in the cold, they felt, you know, not super cold, but I mean, like just starting up the car and just going, the grip is there. But it's not just the tire. It really is a whole complete package. Everything works very well together. Because like I said, I haven't been a fan of the Pilot Sport 2s, Cup 2s, but these are just perfect with this car. To add to that perfection, these massive carbon ceramic brakes. You want to stop a car, stop this car at least, this is what you need to have. You definitely need to have this setup on this car. It is spectacular. No brake fade. You do have to warm them up a little bit. So, you know, in the morning, just put some heat into them, just gradually. Don't want to just slam on the brakes. But these are spectacular. They just braking, and the pedal is perfect. It really is a perfect setup. I love them. This has been spectacular. And the suspension in this is, I would honestly say, second to none. I really feel that strong about this. It also just looks so damn good. Well, let's take a look at the side and see what we have there. We're on the side profile. Now, talk about perfection. It's literally behind me. There's definitely some great design cues and shaping that is just incredible. First, let's start off with, again, the wheels. If you take a look, 19-inch, I think looks great on this. 19 is definitely the size for this. And you don't need to change these wheels. They look perfect, especially in that gold color. We start in the front, and again, just the proportions on each section is spectacular. It really, there's something to your eye that these lines do that is just pleasing. Nice little M2 badge over here. We can see the hood. You guys might be able to see the sculpting of the hood just a little bit up there. It really sets a nice line there. Beautiful carbon fiber mirror cover, looks awesome. And we have this little opening reminiscent of the old E36 M3. Such a small thing. I love this opening right here. Now we take a look at the roof, and this actually has a carbon fiber roof. With the CS, you do get this. The cool thing about this carbon fiber, the pattern is a lot bigger than your typical carbon fiber that's tighter, and you actually have kind of looks like a checkered flag design. So beautiful there. And again, this line is just spectacular, and with the black frame around the window, it just looks good. Now, we're talking about lines. This line here, it just does something. I don't know what it is, but this line here, and then there's a faint line here. This design is just so good. This side profile is just beautiful. And when we come to the back, again, we have the 19-inch wheels, a little bit wider in the back, and we have the carbon fiber spoiler. Just that little oomph, so to speak, to set it off and just really have a beautiful design in the M2. Let's take a look at the back and see what we have there. We come to the back and we're greeted with just more beauty, more perfection. Just really good lines, beautiful in the M2. Proportions are great. Taillights, I mean, everything works very well in a design harmony. A couple of things, we take out my favorite key fob stuff, and unfortunately, it's not that exciting. This is probably one of the things that maybe, let's say, is not 100% perfect. There's just not much to it. So we have, oh, and one thing I forgot to mention while we were on the side, there is no keyless entry. So you do have to have this guy to and press the button to unlock. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably, I mean, I don't know. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. But we go ahead and take a look at the back, and this rear spoiler, it's just beautiful. I mean, the carbon fiber is spectacular, looks great. And we have at the bottom, we also have the rear diffuser in carbon, little design cues down there, and the quad exhaust tips. Man, do these things sound incredible when you open it up and you have it in sport mode, sport plus, because it does open it up more. It's just perfection, really. So we have that. Great thing about this that makes this even more perfect car. So I live in Austin. We had really bad storms, and thankfully we got this guy right after, so we can actually have some fun with it. But I had to make a grocery run. So I said, sure, let's go ahead and take this guy. We loaded this thing up, or actually the curbside at HEB. Shout out to HEB, you guys are awesome. You loaded this thing up, and again, with this one, it is a button, you just press it. You do have to lift it up, but this thing is actually pretty loaded right now. It has a couple of waters that we needed. We have my equipment, but it was really good. I was surprised at how much space and how much stuff was here. Cue to my picture of all the groceries we had in this. It was hilarious. Everyone was laughing at it. The other thing that was incredible is, even with everything loaded up, the suspension didn't drop down. That's how stiff this thing is. So, and you know, a couple of cases of water, a lot of heavy groceries, proteins, things like that. We're really weighing it. It was a lot of weight, but it didn't go down at all. But yeah, this thing is beautiful. This is just perfect. What's gonna make it even perfect is when we go out for a drive right now. Let's go ahead. Now, we go for a ride, and typically, I always say my favorite part of these reviews are the drive, but this is, yeah, that and to a whole other level. So let's get started with the small things. Small things, the door panel. So you get in and you take a look at some carbon fiber trim, nice and glossy carbon fiber, really beautiful. You know, a lot of race car kind of obviously materials, and just design, really. And it's very comfortable. You know, we have the leather wrapped with the red stitching on it for the armrest itself, and it's very simple, but it works. It's really a great design, really simple. I love it. Again, very comfortable. Yes, a race car being comfortable. Then we get to the seats. The seats are exceptional. You really have, again, like racing seats in this, and they have even openings on the sides that you can probably see in the back. So, you know, really race inspired items in this. They are a little bit, you know, on the smaller side. They are squeezing me a little bit, but nothing that I could care less about. Really, it's still such a comfortable ride in this. Beautiful stitching. Again, we have the little M inspired light blue, dark blue, and red icons in there. So it definitely is a great look. And again, super comfortable. Yes, comfort in a race, more race ready trim kind of thing. And we come over to the steering wheel. The steering wheel is another one of my favorite things in this. Yes, I'm gonna have a lot of favorites in this. We grab the wheel, and it is Alcantara wrapped. It's a little opening in the Alcantara, so you see the red line. So you know you're dead center. Again, more race things added to this. But it is a little bit on the thicker or girthier side to a steering wheel that I'm usually used to. Again, we have great blue and red stitching all across the Alcantara, all around the Alcantara. But I can see why it needs the thickness, and it, you know, you can squeeze it in, and it really does, you know, it's a little bit more on the squishy side, which you're gonna need, because you're gonna want to have a death grip on this when you're really pushing it to, you know, respond. You're gonna need it. You'll see why. But yeah, it's definitely a beautiful wheel. I love it. The paddles are very comfortable. Would I have liked column paddles on this? No, I could care less. It didn't, I wasn't struggling with it. The steering ratio to this was good enough that I didn't have to kind of fight and just kind of do one of those under to shift up or down when you're turning left or right. So it wasn't that big of a problem. Only thing that was a problem, and this is again more on like an everyday use, is changing the radio station, changing the song with the Apple CarPlay or anything really, because you're supposed to press the wheel, this little wheel here, and then you press the actual button that's there. But it just took I was looking for the next button. I do have volume up, which is nice, but next button would have been really good to have. So we have that. Now we get to the gauge cluster, and don't expect much, but you don't need much. You don't want much here, kind of distracting, I guess you could say. So we have your speedometer, we have your tachometer, and then we have this little screen. The little screen doesn't really show much. You can move things, you know, you can change things around with this little stock on the stock, which was weird, which is like BC. I don't even know what it means, what it stands for, but you can change that, and it doesn't give you really much. It wasn't, again, don't expect much, but that's fine. For all I care, I could have a tachometer, and that's all that really matters in this car. Moving on to the infotainment system, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't really been playing with it much. A couple of things. It is connected to a Harman Kardon system, and it was funny, my buddy Mason, when he asked me how did it sound, I said, this has a sound system? Reason why is because this car is so much fun. I've been more focused on driving it than any other things, I guess, interrupting my driving experience, I guess. But once I kind of settled down, plugged in my phone and got the CarPlay going for my iPhone, it was great. It sounds great. It sounds really great. And you know, the thing with these kind of cars or these kind of trims is something was going to sacrifice, not in the sound system. It's actually pretty good, like Harman Kardon typically is. A couple of things. This does have wireless CarPlay, which is great. You don't have to plug in your phone, which I'll show you soon. But it is a little weird because when you turn the car off, you're still connected to the car. It's still playing the music with the car off. You do have to open the door, close the door. It's still playing your music until you either stop your phone or you lock your car. Yeah, I don't know if that's something on the CarPlay side of things or on the BMW side of things. I would think it would be more on the BMW side of things, because I would think if I turn off the car, kill the radio. But I'm nitpicking. Yeah, I'm nitpicking because this thing is so excellent, and I do have to have some pros and some cons. I mean, I have a lot of pros, but have some cons. But yeah, that was one of the big things with this, is that I did feel that, and had to always kind of pause it, close the door, then lock it, and the infotainment turned off. So we had that. Then we come over to the radio sort of thing, and CD player kind of situation here. Yeah, sure, I guess if you're in, I guess if you need CDs, yeah, you have it there. Your air conditioning controls, very simple, to the point, no issues there. Again, that's what you need. We come down here and we have the cup holders, very small. Don't expect anything big. You're probably not going to want to have anything big in this car, but you could definitely have some cups in there. I do have my phone in there because that is the only real spot you have for it. You have a little area up here, but yeah, that's going to slide all over. So it is there, not a big deal. We come down here to the shifter, and this thing is a little on the tricky side. You have the reverse, you have the neutral, and you have the drive and sport mode. You don't really have a park. I was literally took it out for a drive, came back, and I was sitting in the car for about 5 minutes trying to figure out how the hell do I leave this? And the guy that dropped it off said, oh yeah, you just put it in neutral and turn it off. Except you don't, because it will not turn off if you leave it in neutral, or it will start warning at you that, you know, you're leaving it in neutral and to put it in park. So yeah, this is the automatic transmission. Would I have liked the manual? We'll get to that soon. But yeah, so it was a little weird. The trick to it, pro tip, you leave it in drive and just turn off the car. it puts it in park, which was weird because it kept telling me, put it in park. And I'm like, there's no freaking P here. There's no park. So yeah, that was, again, nitpicking at things. The lever is very nice. It's very comfortable. I love it. I've been using this maybe 15% of the time because the rest I've been using the paddles. Then we come over to the different performance modes that we have with this. We have what it shows like the speedometer, which is engine tuning and engine dynamic kind of thing. Right now I do have it set to Sport Plus. And then we have the suspension, same thing, you know, Comfort, Sport, and then Sport Plus, and the steering wheel feel. I have had it at Sport Plus pretty much this whole time, except for probably right now, and when I turn it off. I know I can program it, but I haven't really dived deep into the menus to see how to do that. But overall, I have kept it in Sport Plus just because it's such a rewarding feeling. It really is a significantly more rewarding drive when you are in Sport Plus all across. Maybe, you know, as far as the exhaust, that's probably the one I would change and leave it at efficient, or, you know, the engine mode, so that it's not super loud, or, you know, save some gas if that really matters in this car. It really doesn't. So yeah, we have that set to Sport mode and Sport Plus for everything. Then we get down to the iDrive system. It's okay. I wasn't fidgeting with it too much. I was just more entertained with driving the car. And this does not have a glove box, which is why I said I had to have my phone in the cup holder, because there's no area for me to just shove it in there and leave it. So yeah, don't expect to have that space. You have some space on the doors, which is fine, but you don't have that back here. The other thing as well is the USB connection is way back here, which is kind of awkward because now I have to run a cable all the way to the front. Again, I do have the wireless CarPlay, but you know, if you need to charge, yeah, you have to run the cable. It does have a handbrake, so it's not an electronic handbrake, which is nice. Okay, back seats. Yeah, there's pretty much no back seat back there. There is 2 seats, but they are very small. I do have my kids' seat back there because I was trying to make it work. So that all three, my wife, myself, and him, can enjoy the car. But it didn't happen. I just put it there, and his knees would be hitting my wife's seat in the back. Can't put him in the middle because there's no spot in the middle. So don't expect this to be a family car. Again, it sucks because you really want to share this with others. Adults, yes, maybe you know, smaller adults, or if he were a bigger kid and didn't need his seat, then yes, definitely he would have fit there with no problem. And the trunk space, finally. The trunk space, as you guys saw, groceries. I was able to load this thing up and it worked. I bet the girl that was loading up my curbside pickup stuff was like, what in the hell? I was able to fit all this in there. Because it's not a big car, it's a very small car, but it's definitely a lot of space. So you know, it's definitely makes for a great grocery getter. I'll tell you that. So it's definitely a lot of fun, and it just really works well. It's surprisingly well for just everyday things. Let's get to the fun part, what this car is about, the performance. So we have a 6-cylinder underneath, turbocharged, and what's weird is our paper that we typically get doesn't indicate anything about a hybrid system or an electric system. And I've tried checking online, and I couldn't see anything in the specific site for this car, and nothing about there being an electric assistance. But in the infotainment system, it lets you have what's called efficient dynamics, and when I brake, it is indicating something that says charging battery. Not sure if this has a mild hybrid, but sure. We have it in manual mode right now, or sport mode, and we're doing the manual shifting. It will not shift, which is good unless you shift it. That's what I want in a true automatic that has a sport or manual mode. Heads up guys, I'll probably lose this camera because I'm gonna start driving a little bit more spirited, and this car is very stiff. It's very stiff, and it is making my camera move. As you guys probably saw, different framing of this camera. So I'll be probably talking to you. We get to this though, and I said it's stiff. We're talking about the suspension, and it's okay. It's okay though that it's stiff, because what's awesome about this car is I am feeling the road through the steering wheel. I'm not really feeling it that much through the seat in a good way. So you are still feeling some things on the, I'm gonna have to start talking louder too, because this guy can get loud. So I'm not feeling it in the seat in an uncomfortable way. I am still feeling the feedback of the road, but the steering wheel feels so good. And then, and then when you really hammer it, it's gonna respond. It's gonna respond at any RPM, which that's why I'm, with the 400 horsepower, over 400 horsepower this has in such a small car is incredible. This thing is insane. Now, I've driven cars with almost twice as much power, and it doesn't feel this good. It did not feel this good. It's not just about having the power, but being able to deliver it in such a great way that this does. It's exceptional. And so again, we get back to the suspension and the tires and in the brakes. Yes. This thing is insane. It does have the carbon ceramic brakes in this. The tires in this, the Michelins are grippy. And again, I've had these tires in other cars and I hated them. I'll be honest with you, I probably sugarcoated it in the video, but I didn't like them. And this, it's perfect. This is the tire combination that you need. Look up, buddy. Yeah, I told you guys, it's really, the G-forces are really there with this, but it's exceptional. The feel to this, this is probably like my 10th time, over 10th time driving this car, and I'm still feeling like if it were the first time. It's like that first date. You have the first date jitters. This is the 10th date. We're probably beyond honeymoon stage. We're married, and this still feels like first date feelings. When we get to the engine, I mean, you can hear it. It's hold on, let me get to a straight line. It just sounds so good. Again, told you it will not shift. It will not shift, so it will hold the gear. Now, when I downshifted, it rev matched. So the automatic rev match, which is perfect in this. It is so good in this. Typically you get a rev match and it it upsets the car's balance. Not with this. It really does rev match it to a good point. Yes, it is an automatic. So this is the automatic transmission. It does come in a manual. Do I care that do I want the manual? Just to try it out, but I like the way this drives. So I'm gonna put it in normal drive, but there are a couple of things with this that was a little weird with the transmission. And what that is you have, it's the DCT transmission. So when you're stopped completely and you go to engage, first gear is gonna engage a little abrupt. So be ready for that. Not a small deal breaker. That's not a deal breaker at all, but just get used to it. That's all you need to do. Just get used to how that engages first gear, and then you'll be fine. When you're parking, definitely need to kind of commit to it and get to, brake when you want to stop. You can't really crawl, stop, and then crawl again, because it's going to want to engage that, and it's like when you have a clutch and just catch the engage point, fairly aggressive. So yeah, pro tip, if you're gonna go ahead and park, make sure you are just gonna kind of do it in one smooth way, not brake and then crawl up. That's it though. But other than that, I mean, the transmission is so good. And and it really, you know, the shifts are so instant as well. And to get the power down, we have, what I found out is BMW has like their race traction control, MDM. Holy cow, is that thing perfect. I've never had a traction control system be this damn good. It's just so good. So when you're taking those turns, it's just really putting the power down, and you're not worrying about, you know, am I gonna lose traction? Is it a little cheating? No, because you're still needing to give it, you know, still give it some go, and feather the gas. But so it's still a driver's car, but it just adds more to your. Sorry, this is like a workout. And you just have to concentrate so much because this is such a driver's car. This is what perfection really looks and feels like. It's just so damn good. Oh, it wanted to get sideways there. So again, it helped me, but I still needed to make sure I didn't put too much gas. Yeah, head up, buddy. But it's just exceptional. I have goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps from this car. And again, the power delivery is just on. It's on all the time. You know, there's no turbo lag. I do not feel a turbo lag. In fact, when when you're up there in the RPMs, it's just going more and more and more. It just wants to go. And when you need it to stop, it really does stop. Hanging in there, buddy? So, it really does stop. The ceramic brakes, are they worth the extra money? Yes. Like, why even question it? It really is. Long term, yeah, they may be expensive because ceramic brakes usually are pretty expensive to repair or to replace. But just the way that this thing drives, when I hit those brakes the first time, I thought the car was gonna do an endo. I thought my rear tires were gonna lift. That's how much bite this has. One thing though, another pro tip, make sure you warm them up a little bit. So they are a little bit, you know, they are bigger brakes, and when they are a little bit on the colder side, they, you know, you want to get some heat in them before you start getting ease the heat into it. So that's what I would say for everyday commuting. Just have some heat to it, and you can definitely, you know, have both the gas and the brake to warm them up so it doesn't defeat it. I'm probably sure because I'm in the Sport Plus mode. But yeah, I cannot say enough good things about the way this car feels. This is, I think, the perfect car. What would I change? Oh gosh, what would I change? I would probably say, if I were to nitpick, I don't know. I guess just get rid of the CD player. I could, you know, save me a pound or two. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I would change in this car. It's just perfect. Oh yeah, yeah, I found out. A little bit more space in the back so that I can enjoy this with my kid and he can have fun in this. But this BMW CS, M2 CS, has been exceptional. This is the best car I have ever driven. It will probably be the best car I have ever driven. Yeah, I have goosebumps. It's just that good. Every single time I get into it, I had an excuse. Hey honey, I have to go take the trash out. Hey honey, I'm gonna go check the mail. Hey honey, I'm just gonna go for a drive. I have never had a press car where I've driven it, gone back up, and said, I'm gonna go drive it again. This was literally it. This is the only car I have ever done that in. Gosh, yeah. It's just that good. The price tag, yeah, we're dealing $99,000 in this, and dealerships, you're charging more, dealer up, those kind of situations, because they are limited run. I am excited. I am so happy I got to drive this and got to experience this. Not many people will. If you do not pass up on this. This is the car you want to get. This is going to be a collector's car. It's going to be, 1M situation all over, even more. My buddies in my Facebook car group said, oh, that's the car I want to get. I'll wait till they're used, and they go down in price. These are not going to go down in price. Again, these are 1M situations all over again, and especially with this one with limited runs, it's going to be an investment. This is an investment. So if you have the opportunity and the funds to buy this, get it and drive the hell out of it. Drive the hell out of it. Who cares if you have 100,000 miles on it? $1 per every 1,000 miles. Head up, buddy. It's definitely gonna be worth it. It's definitely gonna be worth it, and the amount of miles this thing gives you is gonna be worth that $100,000, because it's gonna be up there. Now, with this one, yeah, we have the automatic transmission, which does add to that price, but yeah, expect to have 6 figures in this. And I know a M2 or a 2 Series at that price point is tough to swallow, but it's well worth it. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of the perfect car I've ever driven and probably will ever drive. And remember to find the right gear, which in this case, we're in 4th, but we're probably gonna go down to 2nd gear. Oh yeah, see ya.